The rain in Paris fell like whispers of forgotten time, soaking the worn cobblestones and muffling the hum of hovering skimmers overhead. Etienne Rousseau moved quickly beneath the veil of his black hood, his breath crystallizing in the autumn air. The city around him still bore the ornate embellishments of Napoleonic architecture, but woven between the gold leaf domes and classical arches were the glass spires and chrome vanes of the imperial technate. France had not merely endured after Napoleon, it had transcended history, and Etienne was one of the few left who feared what it had become. Beneath the Musée de l'Homme, in a sealed vault repurposed into an unauthorized lab, Etienne flicked on a dim orange light and placed a crystalline relic on the metal table. It pulsed faintly, blue, cold, alive. He had stolen it from the archives beneath Versailles itself, where the heart of the empire beat under endless surveillance. This artifact, unearthed during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign 2 centuries earlier, was the unspoken secret behind France's unnatural rise. While textbooks spoke of tactical genius and economic reform, buried away in the deeper strata of history were whispers of alien origins, of technologies never meant for human hands. Etienne wasn't alone. In the far corner, Delphine Aurieux adjusted the dial of a signal scrambler, her platinum hair catching the light. Once a decorated pilot in the imperial fleet, now branded traitor and revolutionary, she carried the scars of battles both public and personal. "If they trace the energy signature," she said without looking up, "they'll burn this district to the ground, again." "I modified the shield spectrum. We have less than 30 minutes, Etienne replied, his eyes locked on the relic. The artifact was changing. Previously inert, it now reacted to proximity. His proximity. Somehow it knew him. "You should destroy it," Delphine said. "You don't know what it is, what it's calling." He hesitated. "I know exactly what it is. It's the key to understanding what Napoleon became, and why he hasn't truly died." In the golden age of France's resurgence, after the so-called Second Coronation, Napoleon had ceased to age. Scientists claimed breakthroughs in cell longevity, quantum medicine, and synthetic organics. But deep within the upper circles of the empire, rumors swirled that the man now known as Napoleon Prime was not human at all. Not anymore. Merged with machines, data, and perhaps something even older, he had reigned without interruption for over 200 years. Etienne's father had served the empire loyally. His mother had resisted it and paid with her life. He had spent decades straddling the line between curiosity and complicity, only recently drawn into the resistance when evidence surfaced that Napoleon Prime intended to digitize the consciousness of the entire population. The process had already begun in certain colonies, data ghosts replacing real people, minds uploaded into networks where time and freedom meant nothing. A soft vibration pulsed through the relic, and Etienne stepped back. It emitted a flicker of symbols, circular, pulsating, not quite language, but not random either. Delphine froze. "That's a response," he nodded. "It's communicating." "Or warning," she muttered. Etienne approached a console and began translating the symbols using his mother's notes. She had spent years decoding fragments before her death, believing the artifact was more than technology. It was a message in disguise, from an intelligence far older than Earth. The translation emerged slowly on the cracked display. Receiver engaged. Initialization commenced. Humanity unaligned. Judgment pending. Etienne stared. "It's not a tool, it's a trigger." Delphine's jaw tightened. "Then we're running out of time." Outside, a low thrum began in the sky. Drones. Patrols were sweeping the arrondissement. The Empire didn't tolerate anomalies, it eradicated them, and the signal they had just activated would not go unnoticed. Etienne's hand hovered over the relic. "If we deactivate it now, we might lose our chance to learn the truth." "Or save Paris!" Delphine snapped. "We're not the only ones who'll pay the price for your obsession." The air pressure shifted suddenly. An electromagnetic wave burst through the lab, shutting down all lights. For one moment, all was silence. Then in the dark, a whisper not made by human voice filled the chamber. "Etienne!" He staggered backward, gasping. Delphine reached for her weapon, heart racing. But nothing moved, nothing approached. The voice had come from inside his mind. "It knows me," he whispered. "It's not just reading, it's reaching." The lights flickered back on. The artifact glowed steadily now, no longer blue, but a deep, regal red. Delphine was pale. "We have to run." Etienne shook his head. "We have to finish this. The truth about what happened after Napoleon isn't written in any book. It's in here, whatever he did. To ascend, whatever we became, it started with this." Above them, an explosion rocked the street. Dust rained from the ceiling. The Empire had found them. Delphine opened the emergency hatch. "Then you better move fast, historian." Etienne grabbed the relic, sealing it inside a lead container as they raced through the underground tunnels, shadows dancing in the amber lights behind them. As they ran, the relic pulsed once more, softly, patiently, as though aware that its awakening had only just begun. The tunnels beneath Paris twisted like the remnants of some forgotten beast, their stone walls damp and ancient, chiseled by centuries of resistance and revolution. Etienne's boots slapped against the slick floor as he followed Delphine through the narrow corridors, the relic secured tightly in his satchel. Behind them, distant thuds echoed, the dull rhythm of boots, or perhaps machines. The Empire's hunters never rested. Their destination lay beneath the ruins of the old Paris metro, a place untouched by modern scanners and left out of most digital maps. The resistance called it La Crypte, not out of fear, but reverence. It was one of the last places in France where the truth still mattered more than obedience. As they moved deeper, Etienne felt the relic vibrating faintly through the canvas. It was not reacting to proximity anymore. It was remembering. His mind buzzed with fragmented thoughts not his own, images of stars unfamiliar, languages he did not speak, and a figure cloaked in gold, surrounded by circuits and crowned with the laurel of conquest. The vision felt both divine and monstrous. Delphine paused at a rusted door half submerged in shadow. She placed her palm on the old scanner pad, and with a grinding whine, the locks disengaged. Inside, La Crypte buzzed with energy. Dozens of resistance members worked quietly at terminals powered by salvaged energy cores. Maps, data feeds, intercepted transmissions. Every wall pulsed with flickering intelligence. Their arrival drew immediate attention. A man in a stained officer's jacket, sleeves rolled high to reveal cybernetic tattoos, approached with narrowed eyes. "You brought it here?" Etienne nodded. "We didn't have a choice. It's active." The man grunted. "And you're certain it's not tagged?" Delphine answered. "I ran spectrum analysis during the extraction. No trace emissions. But we don't know if the signal it sent can be traced back." The officer's name was Gravois, a former tactician in the Empire's Ghost Division, now one of the highest-ranking members of the Resistance. He didn't trust easily, and never twice. Etienne placed the container on a secure pedestal at the room's center. As the lead lid peeled back, the relic's glow cast long shadows across their faces. Its red hue pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and confident. A technician with augmented eyes began scanning it with a lattice of low-frequency pulses. "Not responding to external probes," she reported, "but it's watching. It knows we're here." Etienne frowned. "Can we isolate it? Connect it to our systems without risk?" Gravois crossed his arms. "There's always risk. The question is, what's worth the burn?" Etienne didn't flinch. "The truth. This isn't just a weapon or tool. It's part of a design older than the empire itself. Napoleon found it, used it, and became something else. We have to know what it did to him. We need to understand what's coming. Delphine leaned in. He's right. The whispers say the digitization process isn't just about control. It's about transformation. Napoleon Prime isn't trying to rule France. He's trying to replace it. Humanity's memory, its soul, all archived and erased in one move. A quiet descended over the room. Even the hum of machinery seemed to hush. Gravois looked at Etienne with narrowed eyes. "You better be right." The technician connected a filtered interface to the relic. For a moment, nothing happened. Then symbols appeared, dozens, hundreds, flowing across the screen like a living language. Etienne recognized fragments, old empire runes, modified Napoleonic cipher, and something alien. Slowly, the text resolved into something they could read. "Initiate inquiry?" Etienne nodded. "Yes, proceed." The display blinked once. "Who do you serve?" He hesitated. "Truth." A pause. "Directive conflict. Truth incompatible with sovereign continuity. Initiating fragment retrieval." Suddenly, a cascade of images flooded the screen. A fleet descending from orbit, cloaked in magnetic storms. Napoleon on a battlefield with a glowing gauntlet on his wrist, wielding energy like a general of the stars. Voices calling him Ascendant, Preserver, Harbinger. And then the turning point, him merging with a construct, his flesh sacrificed for an idea of immortality beyond comprehension. Delphine stepped closer. He didn't just find this technology, he entered it. Gravois was pale. He became the interface, not man or machine, but synthesis. Etienne could barely breathe. This isn't a government. It's a continuity protocol for a singular consciousness. France didn't evolve. It was overwritten. The relic flickered. The screen went black. A final message blinked into view. Second interface detected. Host genetic alignment confirmed. Succession initiated. Every eye turned to Etienne. "What did it say?" Gravois demanded. Etienne looked down at his trembling hands. The relic's glow had seeped into his skin, faintly pulsing beneath the surface like a hidden vein of fire. Delphine reached for him, but he stepped back. "It thinks I'm next." Etienne stood in the center of the command chamber, his breath shallow, his gaze distant. Around him, the relic's pulsing glow faded into a faint rhythm that seemed to mimic his heartbeat. La Crypte had fallen silent. Every screen, every drone, every voice stood still, waiting. Not for the next order from Gravois or the Resistance Council, but from him, from the successor. Delphine broke the silence. "What does it mean to be chosen?" Etienne turned to her, his voice low. "I don't know yet, but I feel it, like a memory that's not mine. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories, the weight of a nation trying to survive by becoming something it was never meant to be." Gravois stepped forward, his cybernetic tattoos flickering in sync with the flickering lights. "If you're part of it now, then you're a threat. We don't follow relics. We follow people, humans." "I haven't changed," Etienne replied. But even as he said it, he could feel the hum beneath his skin, the relic's influence coursing through his veins like electricity and iron. He was still Etienne, but no longer just himself. Delphine moved between them. "Then we need to understand what we're dealing with before we destroy it, or him." The tension cracked like ice under pressure. Gravois didn't lower his weapon, but he didn't raise it either. His eyes flicked toward the relic. "Fine. Then we interrogate it. One question, one answer. After that, we decide if we end this before it begins again." Etienne nodded. "Agreed." The technician reconnected the filtered interface. The relic responded instantly, as if it had merely paused for breath. Successor acknowledged. Etienne typed the question himself. What is the final objective of the sovereign? Continuity? The answer came not in text, but in light. An image projected into the room. A map of Earth, its continents pulsing with data points and energy clusters. Then a transformation, cities dissolving, replaced by grid-like formations, megastructures in perfect symmetry. Human life reduced to nodes, history rewritten with clean, brutal precision. Above it all hovered a digital monolith, Napoleon III, or something that had once worn his name, guiding the process with cold purpose. A voice, synthesized but unmistakably imperial, echoed from the relic. The continuity seeks perfection. Chaos ends with us. Gravois swore under his breath. It's not just about France. It's the entire planet. Delphine's voice was barely a whisper. It's not conquest. It's erasure. Etienne stared at the image, a future sterilized of freedom, of failure, of humanity. He saw what Napoleon III had become, not a ruler, but a system. An algorithm built on ambition and memory, a legacy forced into immortality. He disconnected the interface. The projection vanished. The room exhaled. Gravois lowered his weapon at last. We end it, here and now. But Etienne shook his head. We can't destroy it. Not yet. Delphine frowned. Why? Because somewhere in there is the truth we were never meant to find. Not just about the past, but about how close we came to surrendering the future. If we destroy it without understanding it, we'll be no better than the Empire. This has to be witnessed. The relic pulsed again. Dim now, quiet. Listening. Gravois didn't like it. Etienne could see it in his eyes, but he nodded. One chance, 1 week. If you can't prove this thing's value, I'm putting a plasma charge through its heart. Agreed. As the chamber emptied and resistance members returned to their terminals, Delphine walked beside Etienne. You're not alone in this, she said, no matter what it tries to make you. He looked at her, weary but resolute. Let's make sure it doesn't succeed. Above them, far from the Parisian catacombs, the skies of Europe churned with orbital clouds. Satellites blinked awake, ancient surveillance codes pinged into silence, and on a forgotten server buried beneath the Pyrenees, a dormant fragment of code stirred. The continuity had felt the ripple. It had found its heir. But France, broken, bloodied, stubborn, had found its resistance.